All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. So, thanks everyone. So, we're going to talk about car buying, and you're going to hear this information from our experts. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves really quick, and then we'll get started.
My name is Michelle Osborne, and I am a consumer lending consultant here at Georgia United. And I have a little over 17 years of experience with the credit union, and I'm also a certified financial counselor.
Hi, my name is Taiwan Thomas. I'm the author of 10 Mistakes to Avoid When Buying Your Next Car, and I oversee Auto Assistance, which is a credit union auto buying service based here in Georgia. And in addition to that, we recently launched in Maine, the state of Maine this year. And I'm just excited about being here and excited about sharing some great tips and information that will be able to benefit you as you listen today.
And I'm Harrison Stafford. I'm moderating from behind the scenes here, and I'm a business development officer here. And let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room here. So, why is there such an issue with car availability right now?
Well, let me first start off with some stats. And I think this is something that can just be an eye opener. I pulled some information from some of the top uh, auto groups that's in the country right now. As of October the 21st, the Auto Nation group, per franchise dealer, they had about approximately 25 new vehicles in stock compared to hundreds that they normally have. In addition to that, the Group 1 automotive group, on average, they have about 23 new cars on their lots. Penske Automotive Group, 26 new vehicles per franchise. Sonic Automotive Incorporated, about 28 per store. And some smaller franchise dealerships, some of them have one or less actual brand new vehicles that's in stock. So with all that happening and all that's going on, the shortages, that's causing major disruption in the marketplace right now. And Michelle, what's happening is because of the strain on the new cars, it's causing used car prices to skyrocket. And also it's lessening the options that's out there. We have members that we're working with that right now they have to literally put on a waiting list and waiting for vehicles that normally are in stock to come in stock. For example, Honda Civics right now, a brand new one is very difficult to get. No matter what trim level you go with, it's very difficult. So I believe that, it's very important to understand the current environment that's going on with the chip shortages. And in addition to that, you wonder why you can't go get the red car or the blue car or the specific car that you're looking for, and why you may have to be a little flexible with your options. That's the reason why. So I would encourage you to keep an open mind during this time. There are some great deals, but you have to make sure that you look at the details and you know what you're doing. And I believe that you can still come through this getting a great deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like right now, too, just the time that we're in, you have a lot of people that aren't working right now. So you think about the manufacturers that are making these vehicles and the parts for the vehicles, and not only are they struggling to get the chips in, but they're struggling to have people put the cars together. So I think that's kind of causing a little bit of difficulty in getting the vehicles as well.
And according to the stats, we're looking at this lasting maybe another 12 to 18 months. So we're looking at going into 2022 to potentially 23. Now, I believe that we are starting to see some signs of loosening up, and not all, well, most of the manufacturers are impacted, but some are impacted more than others. And I believe that over the next few months, we'll start seeing some type of loosening, but it's still going to be a little tight supply over the next 12 to 18 months.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning here. There were a lot of questions that were submitted that said, why should I get pre-approved before shopping, and what are the benefits of getting pre-approved? Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So getting pre-approved is definitely a good idea, mostly for time convenience. So if you're going to know what you're looking for a vehicle. So it's best to go ahead and get pre-approved so that you already know upfront how much you can be approved for. You may think you can only get a 20,000 vehicle, but really you might be able to get you a $30,000 vehicle. So it's good to kind of know ahead of time, you know what your payments are going to be, what you can afford. It's going to be a lot easier for you to minimize what you're looking for because you will know your price range. And then also when you're pre-approved, as far as the lending side, we're going to already have a lot of information that we already need up front. So therefore, when you're ready and you've picked that vehicle out, especially right now with the cars going as fast as they are, it's a lot better for us because we're going to already have everything. We just need that last couple of documents from the dealership and we're good to go. So being pre-approved is definitely a much better option to do.
I agree with you on that, Michelle. And the interesting thing that I like to look at it, because when I'm working with members on a day-to-day basis, when we're searching for cars, you can spend a lot of time searching for a car, but if you haven't spent the time on the framework and the parameters ahead of time, you can waste so much time and energy. And then also you can get so excited about a particular vehicle, but then it doesn't work for you because it doesn't match up. I remember when my wife and we first got married and we were going to buy a house and we got pre-approved. And all of a sudden, we got approved for this amount of money. And we were like, wow, we're getting ready to go and get a big house.
Yeah.
Until we found out what the payment was.
Right.
When we found out what the payment was, although we were pre-approved for XYZ, our budget did not allow for that big pre-approval.
Absolutely.
But one of the great things I like about working with the credit union is I can contact my loan officer and I can have a discussion with them. And I can ask them, okay, I'm interested in getting pre-approved. Okay, I got pre-approved. My pre-approval is 50,000 or whatever the number is. Okay, that's great that I was actually able to get pre-approved for that amount. But here's the most important thing that I believe communicating with your loan officer is, okay, although I got pre-approved for the 50,000, I have a personal goal of not being over $350 per month. $350 a month is not, okay, you can buy 50,000, but that's not going to put you at a $350 payment. But if I have that information ahead of time, for example, Michelle, you can tell me as my loan officer, you can say, okay, I pre-approved you for the 50,000, but in order to reach your goal of that $350, here's your interest rate. And this is the max amount of terms that we can go on a 2018 and newer or whatever the year may be. Therefore, that can give me focus before I even start the process. And then all of a sudden, while I'm searching for the vehicles, I can keep in the back of my mind, okay, I need to be at $25,320.28 max in order to hit that goal. And by doing that, that can help eliminate a lot of extra options that I may get excited about, but it doesn't meet my goal. So that's one thing that I would encourage. Let's know the framework. Know the framework before you start shopping.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. So once you've been pre-approved and you go through that process, it's awesome. How long is that pre-approval good for?
So here at Georgia United, your pre-approval is good for 60 days from the day that we pull your credit and start your application. So it definitely gives you a little bit of time to be able to find a vehicle without us having to pull your credit and start a new application over.
Thank you. And how difficult is it to get a loan with GCU?
Yeah, so I don't feel like it's difficult at all. We make the process as simple and easy as we can for our members. And as far as the approval, we don't look at just your credit score. So we're going to look at a bunch of different options that we look at when we're making our decision. So that makes it, I think, definitely less difficult. And then, of course, we make the process of applying as convenient as we can. We give a lot of different options, so that doesn't make it difficult either.
Thank you. And can I do everything online when it comes to this process? Because I know in today's day and age, we're having a big shift, but is that available? Is that something I can do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can let you apply online on our application on our website. You can apply over the phone. And then from there, one of the CLC teams would communicate via phone or via email. You can fax documents to us, email them. Of course, if you're not comfortable with sending your information through the email, you are more than welcome to go to the branch and drop it off. But if you want strictly online, that's definitely possible. We can do all that through the email or phone.
Great. Okay. So we're talking about the application process here. What all will I need when I'm applying for a loan at GUC?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, that's going to be an individual basis. What kind of loan you're applying for? Are you getting an auto loan from a dealership? Are you getting one from an individual? I will say just some of the most common, we're going to need your driver's license. If you are a Georgia United member already, we're going to have that on file. And if we do, we're going to be able to just use that. So that would keep you from having to send that to us. Some members are required to show proof of income. So we would get your most recent pay stub. And then, of course, if you're going to buy from a dealership, you're looking at the buyer's order. Once you all have come to an agreement at the dealership, may or may not need a copy of the title. And if you're buying from an individual, there's some other documents we would need. So it just kind of depends on the individual basis of what loan you're doing, what type, and things like that.
Okay, so financing options here. Why? And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but why go with the credit union or why go with Georgia United as opposed to a dealership? What are the differences there?
Yeah, so I definitely feel like there's some advantages for sticking with the credit union when you're going to purchase your car. To me, the biggest one is the rates. We're going to offer a lot lower rate than what the dealership is going to be able to offer most of the time. And of course, the service for me. We obviously want to give our members the number one service that they can receive. And we're going to have what's the best interest for our members. So, the dealership is looking at their sale. We're looking at taking care of you. So we're going to do the best we can and offer that service to you. And then, of course, our products. We have a gap and warranty product that is a lot cheaper than what the dealerships are going to offer. And so by doing your loan through us, you're going to have the opportunity to get those products at a much cheaper rate. Those are products we believe in, and we want our members to be able to afford them. So we try to make that the best affordable that we can. So definitely a couple different options of going through us instead of a dealership. And you may be able to touch base a little bit more on that as well. But I definitely think there's some major advantages to that.
One of the questions that I've actually received from a member was, okay, if I finance through the dealership, can I still get gap insurance through the credit union? And the answer is no.
Right.
If you finance through the dealer, you have to get your gap insurance through the dealership. So I believe that it will be a great idea if I'm shopping for a vehicle today, I want to separate my financing from the car purchase, because sometimes, you can get there in the finance office at a dealership, and nothing negative against anybody at the dealership or so forth, because I believe there are some great and ethical people that are working at those different institutions or different places. But I think that, in my opinion, I would separate the financing from the dealer, because it's so easy to get mixed in. Okay, my payment and the price of the car. Okay, now you have a trade-in and mixing that all up. I just think it's good to separate it so you know exactly, this is what my interest rate is. This is how much my financing is. And then I can separate that from the purchase of the vehicle. I think that can help you be able to see that itemized separately.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people do think that going to the dealership, it's quicker, it's easier. And like you said, it's not always the best option, because that instant gratification, that getting that vehicle right then isn't what's going to always be what's in the best interest for you. So we definitely want to have you come here at the credit union so that we can make sure we're doing what's best for you and looking out for your future the best we can with your purchase of your vehicle.
Absolutely.
All right. So this is a two-part question here. So do you have a minimum credit score when I'm looking at these types of things? And then the second part of that is, what are some things that you look at aside from the credit score?
Yeah, great question. So we actually do not have a minimum credit score that we require. So my recommendation would be for anyone of any credit score to definitely apply and let us review it. We look at a lot of different things whenever we're making our decision here. So we're going to look at your job time, your income, your overall credit, not just the score. We're going to look at, your relationship with Georgia United. There's a lot of different things that we take into perspective when we're making that decision. So there's definitely not a minimum credit score. My recommendation is definitely apply and let us see what we can do for you.
All righty. And am I required to put a down payment on a vehicle purchase?
Yeah, so not everyone is required to pay a down payment. That is, once again, an individual basis. So it just once again, we're going to look at all those different options. We're going to look at reviewing everything about your details of your personal situation. And it's going to depend on what the underwriters are going to say at that time. This is, again, a good idea to get that pre-approval. If you do that pre-approval, we're going to know ahead of time if you're going to be required for that down payment. So it is a good idea to go ahead and get that in there so we'll know. But it is an individual basis to basis. If it is required, not everyone is required to pay a down payment.
And I'll piggyback on you just a little bit on
Yeah.
this. Again, it all comes down to service, in my opinion. And you're going to get service. Members will get service by contacting the credit union and working with a loan officer and looking out for their best interests rather than just what's the best interest of the dealership. So I believe that that's one of the real important key factors and one of the benefits of membership with the credit union is you have someone that you can call and to speak to and that can walk through and hold your hand and walk together as you figure out and navigate the whole car buying process. So you're not alone.
So I've decided I want a car. I've been pre-approved. Now, what are some of the things, the most important things that I need to look at when shopping for a vehicle? So I've heard the phrase vehicle history report. That's somewhere to start.
Yes, it's so important to pull a vehicle history report because you can look at a car and it's all shiny and looks great and all that. And you may be surprised once you pull that vehicle history report. You have several reports out there that you can pull, Auto Check, Carfax. Carfax is one of my favorites. I'm not personally endorsing them, but that's just my personal thing that I like to look at. And that's what our organization looks at when we're looking at vehicles, because one of the great things about a Carfax report, for example, I'm able to find out how many owners was previously with the vehicle. Also, I'm able to look and see, has the car ever been in any type of accident? Where did the car come from? Did it come from California? Did it come from New England? Did it come from Florida? Did it come from Texas? Where did it come from? In addition to that, one of the really key factors that I look at, and I think that's very important, is you can actually find out how long the dealer has had the vehicle in their inventory by looking at the Carfax, because it says on their vehicle for sale, and it usually will put the dealership's information on there. So you can know, am I dealing with a car that's been on the lot for 60 days, 120 days? Maybe the car has been on there for 360 days and it's a pre-owned car. Is that a car that I want to maybe consider? That may make me start thinking a little bit more on my purchase if that car has been on that lot for that long. In addition to that, the Carfax report can give me an idea of maintenance. Has the oil change been done on a car consistently? Was it consistently maintained? Maintained. And that's one of the great benefits of watching and looking at a Carfax report. And lastly, I look at a Carfax report to give me an idea of how much is remaining on the warranty as well. I can put my mileage on there and it can tell me what the estimated warranty is remaining on the car, because it can help me make a decision. Do I need to get an extended warranty, or am I okay with the warranty that's currently on the vehicle right now? So those were my thoughts on that.
All right. And so we've got the information behind that now. How do I know if the price of a vehicle is fair? Hear that a lot. So can we talk about that? And two, another part to that is, how do I know that I'm not overpaying for a vehicle?
One of the really big tools that I use is the NADA values. And that's actually the same values that the credit union uses when they're booking the loan. The NADA, a lot of times, let's just say I'm shopping for a car, Michelle. I can go out and let's say I'm looking at 3 different Ford Mustang vehicles. And let's say I found one Ford Mustang that was $1,000 cheaper than all Ford Mustangs that I found so far. In my mind, I'm thinking, that's a great deal. I should jump on that right away because it's the least expensive one. It's the best deal that I found so far, until you go and pull the NADA value and you may realize it's $2,000 over retail. Therefore, by pricing and getting the NADA and booking out the car ahead of time, I think that's very important to understand and see what the value is on that vehicle to know if you're getting a good deal or are you overpaying for the vehicle. So the NADA is a good friend to have when you're searching for the vehicle and when you found the vehicle and you're looking at it and trying to make a decision on the actual pricing. Is it a good deal or not a good deal? So I would just keep that in the back of your mind when a member is shopping, that's what they should consider.
And definitely keep that in mind too on the lending side, because depending on what the value is of your vehicle is going to have something to do with what we're going to lend on it.
Yes.
So depending on your credit score, what loan to value we're looking at that we can do. And a lot of times we can go over just the regular value on it as far as financing after you add in taxes and everything. But it's definitely important to know what that value is so that you can kind of see what you are. If you have that pre-approval, especially, you kind of know where you're standing on your loan to value.
And if you don't mind, I would like to add this because we are seeing this on a day-to-day basis right now. When we're working with members, we're having vehicles found at particular dealerships, and we're noticing once you get it's not just about the selling price. The selling price is very important, but it's about that drive out number. And a lot of things that I'm seeing these days, especially in this current climate and environment, I'm seeing extra fees that's put on vehicles that I've never seen before. I had a bill of sale that came across my desk not too long ago. The dealer was selling ceramic protection and paint and fabric or something like that for $1,900. When I saw that, I was like, "Are you serious? $1,900?" And they were so determined that, well, either you buy the car with the ceramic wrap or you don't buy it at all, because they understood that what the market was and how limited the inventory, and they may have had that only type of car around. So they were totally taking advantage of the situation. Now you have a lot of dealers that are not taking advantage of this current climate. And those are the dealers that we're running to rather than some of these other, I can't think of a better word, clowns that's going on right now and taking advantage of the market. So those extra fees, it's so important to look at that before. I don't care how excited someone may be. Maybe it's the only one out there, but just be very careful not to just accept anything just because of, all the extra fees and all that. So be careful of that.
Okay. So we just talked about price. And you both mentioned value when you were talking about that. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between price and value, because they are different things?
Absolutely. If let's just say, for instance, I'm looking at two different vehicles and they're very identical. Let's say one is certified. One may be certified, and let's just say it's selling for $20,000. But then I may see a vehicle that is non-certified and it's selling for $18,500. The non-certified vehicle doesn't mean that it's a bad vehicle. It may be a great vehicle, great deal, but let's just say it's being sold at, an independent dealer, and the $20,000 vehicle is being sold at a franchise dealer. The fees are different. The cost, what some dealers may put into a car, maybe dealer A may have spent $2,000 on the recon of a vehicle. If it needed tires, they put tires on it. If they put let's just say, for instance, the oil needs to be changed and a lot of other things that may have been needed to be put into the vehicle, that dealership may have done it. Dealership B may have not put the money in the car. So therefore, if I'm looking at two vehicles and they're a $1,500 difference, sometimes spending a little bit more money because the service was done on the vehicle may be the better option. And let's say, for instance, on top of that the vehicle is certified. You don't have to buy an extended warranty necessarily on that unless you choose to, but that's some of the savings that you're looking at as well. So that's the difference between the value and the pricing. Sometimes you may want to spend a little bit more to get a higher quality vehicle that you don't have to spend a lot of money on, potentially.
Absolutely. Value is not always going to be what's on the paper.
Yes.
They definitely, if it's got new tires, they're going to charge a little more, but that keeps you from having to pay for it yourself later. So,
and I encourage people to look at Google reviews of the dealership that you're purchasing from. If you're looking at the reviews and you're seeing a lot of issues from customers stating that my car broke down the time I bought it, or the tires were bald, if you're consistently seeing that information, I'm not talking about one bad review or two bad reviews, but I'm talking about if you're consistently seeing that, that's a dealer you may want to stay away from.
yeah,
So that's one of the really important things I would encourage you to consider.
Okay. So what's negative equity?
So basically, negative equity is going to be another term that a lot of people are familiar with is you're upside down. So basically, if you have your value when you pull up the NADA, which is also called JD Power now, when you pull that up, if it says that your vehicle's worth $20,000, but you owe $24,000, you're going to have $4,000 of negative equity, also known as that upside downness. And a lot of things that people I see a lot lately is when they're going to trade a vehicle in, and they get to that dealership, and the dealership they owe $10,000 on this car, but the dealership only wants to give them $5,000 for it. So they're going to in turn take that $5,000 of negative equity and they're going to put that back in on your new deal, which is going to interfere with that value of the new vehicle you're purchasing. I've had a lot of people that get a little confused on that once I get their buyer's order and I kind of break that down for them and explain it to them. So yeah, for sure, negative equity it's there. It's especially right now these new vehicles they're already selling for more than what they're actually worth. The dealerships know they can do it because they're hard to get right now. So automatically, if the MSRP is 50,000 and after taxes and everything, and you're financing 53, you're going to have that 3,000 negative equity, which I think is very important when we talk a little more about gap insurance. Is why that you should have that for that negative equity.
And I would like to add, there are some great dealers out there that's doing it right, but there are some dealers that are not doing it right as well. And what's so important, especially in this current climate, is not to overpay for the vehicle because of your excitement. It's so important because if you get so excited about a particular vehicle and you're overpaying for the vehicle right now, when it's time to trade that car in, you're going to be potentially be in a very bad situation. And it's so important to do your due diligence, look at that NADA value, and look at all those extra add-ons. Make sure that you're not paying, if you can avoid it, make sure you're not paying $2,000 or $1,900 for ceramic wrap. I would like to say this. My son and I, we were driving down the street the other day, and I passed by a car wash, and I took a picture once I got to the stop sign. I took a picture, and on the sign of the car wash, it said ceramic shine or ceramic coating or something like that. $6 special. I took a picture of that and I was like, I'm going to send this to some of my dealer friends, that's out there selling all this craziness. So, but the interesting thing is there's so much markup on the different products. So you want to just watch out for that. Now, again, it's a different quality, ceramic wrap. They may have a higher, whatever. Anyhow, the bottom line is I encourage to limit some of those extras and stick to the main things that are important. That's the selling price of the vehicle. The dealer has their dock fee, the taxes and fees of the vehicle. Now, if you choose to get some of the extra products, I would like it to be my choice rather than it being forced on me. So I would keep that in the back of your mind. Do I want this extra product? And if you want it, then pay for it. But if you don't want it, then that's when you have to have that discussion with the dealership.
So very punctual that we talked a little bit about the gap warranties here, because there's actually a question submitted, and let's talk a little bit about warranties. So vehicle extended warranties, are they worth it? And what are GUC-used warranties? So I know you mentioned gap, so you can talk about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So here at Georgia United, we have extended warranty available. I firmly believe it is an amazing product. And what that is, like I said, we're going to offer it a lot cheaper than what the dealership is going to offer. And a lot of times the things that I see is a dealership is going to have a deductible on theirs. The one here at Georgia United, it has a zero deductible. So the extended warranty is very important, I think, especially when you're buying a used vehicle, but even on the newer ones. I've had a lot of conversations with my members because a lot of things, and I actually had a member this morning. My vehicle is covered 100,000 powertrain. And what a lot of people are misled is that powertrain is just a little piece. It's a little piece on that engine, and that's all that's covered. So these extended warranties is going to cover a lot of different things. It does depend on the exact vehicle and the mileage of what we're going to be able to offer. But just some of the examples is, we're going to be able to cover your engine, your transmission, some of the electrical things, starter, alternator, automatic windows. That's a big one, I think, that tears up a lot on vehicles, especially even newer ones. That's going to be covered. Your battery, Key fob. Key fob, if it gets lost or stolen or broken, that can be replaced, and it's a zero deductible. And ours here at Georgia United even comes with roadside and rental car as well. So it's an amazing product, and what we're able to do is put that in on your financing. And of course, we have some other little perks that we can do if you purchase that can help you with your monthly payment and things like that. So definitely something I highly recommend. And an example I will give you, I personally purchased a used vehicle and I didn't have it for 5,000 miles and the engine went out. I had to pay $15,000 for a whole new engine. Did not purchase an extended warranty at that time. So that was some years ago. Definitely recommend that. You never know what could happen. And then as far as the gap protection, gap insurance, if you're not aware of what that is basically the insurance companies have their own way of figuring what the value is of a vehicle once it's totaled. They don't use NADA like we use. I believe what they use actually comes in a lot lower a lot of times than what the NADA shows. So a lot of times whenever you owe on your vehicle and you total it, the insurance company is not going to pay enough to pay your loan off. And so what they're going to do, gap insurance is going to go in and pay that difference, the difference of what the insurance company is not going to pay. Our product here at Georgia United also covers your deductible. So if you have a $500 or $1,000 deductible, we will take care of that deductible for you as well. So you could potentially not owe the insurance company anything for purchasing that gap protection. Our gap protection is very affordable. It's a wonderful product as well. So it's definitely something, especially if you're going to be overvalue. And like we were talking, it's not even necessarily that dealers are charging too much. They're just charging MSRP, but you have to pay taxes and you have to pay, the dock fee and things. And so once you have that, you don't want to drive off the lot and not be covered. I had a member a couple of weeks ago, drove off that lot with a brand new vehicle and didn't even make it home and totaled it out. Of course, he called me to get another loan because he was needing to buy another vehicle. But thankfully, he had that gap protection with Georgia United. And so that took care of anything that he was upside down in his loan. So he didn't owe anything and we were able to proceed with a new loan. So definitely highly recommend gap and extended warranty and looking at what United has to offer anytime you go to purchase a vehicle.
Absolutely. Now, my thinking on gap and warranty, let's just say, for instance, if you're looking at buying a $30,000 vehicle and you're going to put $15,000 in cash down on the vehicle, you don't need gap insurance. Mm-hmm. But if you're not putting any money down or barely putting a little money down and you're paying a lot for the vehicle, you need gap insurance is what I would look at it. And as far as the same thing with extended warranties, in my opinion, let's just say, for instance, if you have a ton of money saved up in the bank and, if something breaks, you can afford it. Then you may not need an extended warranty. But a lot of people are not prepared for those unexpected expenses. Therefore, they should get an extended warranty just to be careful and be especially if, let's say you bought a BMW. BMWs are very expensive to maintain and they're very expensive when things go out on them. You should get an extended warranty on a BMW. No matter what type of vehicle, I think it's a good idea to consider it, but just keep that in mind. So
absolutely. And the good thing here, like you were saying, if you're paying down and you don't need it at the credit union, once again, we're going to do what's best for our members.
Absolutely.
And so the awesome thing with that is if you are purchasing a vehicle and paying that big chunk of money down, we're going to be upfront.
Absolutely.
It's not something that you need. I'll still tell you about it. And if you still want it, you can get it. Some people do get it just to cover their deductible. But we're very upfront, honest with our members. We're not here to try to put something on them that they don't need. So that's a good peace of mind for you to have when you're financing through Georgia United is we're going to give you that service and we're going to let you know if it is something that we don't think you need, we're not going to push that on you and we'll definitely talk to you about it.
See, and that's one of the differences between using your credit union compared to going to the dealership. The dealership, you're a transaction, you're a number, you're just a transaction. But at the credit union, you're more than a transaction. You're a member. You're an owner, you're a part of the organization, and the credit union wants what's best for the member. And it's not just a transactional item alone. So that's one of the great things why I highly recommend credit unions. When I finance vehicles, I go through the credit union. It's a great thing to do. So.
Thank you for that. So I've decided that I want to buy a new car. What's the best way to go about doing that?
First thing is, as we stated, Get pre-approved. Speak to your loan officer. I know I keep on saying this, but speak to your loan officer. Find out what is the best budget for you and what can you handle that's realistic. And then once you get that information, then you go shopping. Now, I'm a little biased on this. You may ask, where's the best place to shop for a car? A little bias is cuautosearch.com. That's our website, little shameless plug. On the website, we have thousands of cars that you can choose from, and you have personal assistance with that. But that's what I would say. Get pre-approved and then go shopping, but try your best to stick with the parameters that you communicated with your loan officer so you don't go off track. And then all of a sudden you get stuck and you're wondering, okay, I have this very nice car, but I'm going to have to eat ramen noodles today. And I'm gonna have to eat ramen noodles for the rest of the month or for 60 months or 72 months just to drive this nice car. Don't do that. Figure out what works for you and that's realistic, that you can handle. And then when it's time to buy that next car, you can continue to grow as your income grows. You can continue to do more and better and a nicer car as time goes on and so forth. That's realistic within your budget. So be sober-minded when it comes to that. And I think you'll be all right.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please reach out to Taiwan. He's great. And just there's been a couple in the chat here. Can you repeat that website one more time, please?
Yes, it's cuautosearch.com. So it's
the letter C.
Yes, cuautosearch.com. You can find the car on the website. We have thousands of cars on there. And the great thing about it is you can still finance directly with GUCU. One of our member auto reps with the car buying service will connect you with your loan officer to make sure that you're taken care of on that end. And the great thing about it is once you find the car on the site, you'll have personal service from myself or one of my team members that will help walk you through the whole process to make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of. So check out the website when you have a moment if you like.
All right. Thank you. All right. So what are the best practices for selling your car privately? So assuming that I've found a car that I really, really like, now I've got to get rid of my old one.
Yes.
How do I do that?
Well, one of the things that I've personally used recently was the Facebook Marketplace. That's a great avenue to list your car. One of the things that I personally did was when I listed my car for sale, you're able to find out and look at the person that's interested in buying your car. You're not just getting some random person calling your phone number. You're able to see and look at their profile, look and see, okay, are they a real person or do they just have, no photos up there? If they don't have any photos on there, I may stay away from that person and look for someone else. But that's a great way. One of the things that I would encourage you to do, if you do sell it individually, I would encourage you to make sure that you meet in a location when it gets to that, meet in a location that is very populated. I would encourage you to maybe go to one of the branches that maybe have a security guard or go to some other places, go to the police station maybe and meet the person in the lot of the police station just for that added security because there's so many crazy things that's going on right now. And also, I would not go alone. Make sure you have someone with you. Do not go alone because you want to just make sure that safety is number one. In addition to that, I would also go and shop it with a dealership just to find out because of the inventory shortages right now. Some dealers are paying top dollar for trade-ins and for vehicles. Even if you decide not to buy a car from them, they're giving top dollar. So I would shop it with a pre-owned, with different dealerships. In addition to putting it on the marketplace as well. And a place with cameras.
Yeah, for sure.
Cameras, absolutely.
And another recommendation I have is when you get that payment, make sure you're getting something that's guaranteed. A lot of people think cashier checks are 100% guaranteed. They're not. We see a lot of fraud of those all the time. So make sure it's during maybe business hours where you can call and verify those funds. If you have to take a cashier's check or, maybe take cash, you just definitely don't want to just take a check and go with it because that check may not be good and then you're going to be out your vehicle.
Also look at the cash. I recently, when I sold my vehicle, the individual that purchased it gave me all cash, all $100 bills up to the amount that I sold it for. I was nervous. I was thinking that, okay, is this money real? Okay, I was thinking of all my experience. Like, how do you check to make sure that the $100 bill is real? And of course, it has like this little line on it that you can check. And there's other factors. I will look it online and find out. But make sure the cash is real, because there's so much counterfeiting that's going on as well. I hate to sound all negative with that, but that's one of the benefits of, rather than selling it on your own, the peace of mind that you get from selling it at a dealership. Yes, you'll get less money in some cases, but you don't have to deal with all the rest of the extra things that come with it. However, you can get some good deals by selling it privately, but just be prepared of the necessary steps that you need to be aware of before you do that. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the submitted questions here that I want to make sure we touch on. One of the questions here says, can we touch on leasing a vehicle? So pros, cons, and just, I guess, in reference to getting a loan.
So, first of all, I'll let Michelle answer. Does the credit union do leasing, or is it just straight purchase? And then I'll chime in after that.
So yeah, we do just purchase. Now we do have people that have leased a vehicle that now want to purchase it, and they come to us, and we can definitely do that. But the leasing, I think, is strictly through the dealership, as far as we're concerned.
So I'll give you a mild answer, and if you really want to hear some details, you can call me. But concerning leasing compared to purchasing, I encourage you to look at different angles. It's different situations for different members for different situations. One thing I will say, and this may be a little strong, but I'll say this and I'll leave it right there. In my opinion, getting a lease sometimes can be more like renting a car. At the end of the lease, it's like a rent-a-car. You turn it in and you have nothing to show for. But with you financing the vehicle, you can actually turn around, sell that car, and make some money off of it. And those are some of the benefits of buying rather than leasing. So I would encourage you. And then another thing is the mileage cap. You want to be aware of, your lease may be only for 12,000 miles for that year or 15,000 miles. Do you drive that amount? Do you drive 15,000 or do you drive 20,000 miles per year, or whatever the case may be? You want to be just aware of that. But I'm a strong component or champion. I like to champion direct purchase rather than leasing. But it's your personal decision on how you want to do that.
Okay. So actually, let's get this other question that was just submitted. Says, I currently have a car loan through GUCU and I'm still making payments. Can I possibly trade in if I desire, or if I have a car that I would like through autosearch.com's website?
Can you trade in a vehicle? Yes, you can trade in a vehicle. We actually have a form that you can fill out on our website, or one of our member auto reps can actually reach out to you and email you that link. And what it will do, we'll ask you to upload a few photos of your vehicle, and then you can answer some of the questions concerning your vehicle, like, has it been in any accidents? Are there anything on the vehicle that's not working properly? Is there a check engine light? And then what we do is we take that information and we shop it with our dealers to help maximize the trade-in amount that you'll be able to get. But yes, we totally help with trade-ins to be able to help get you in the next car as well.
And as far as the lending side, as long as that trade-in, we're aware of it and it's going to be on that buyer's order, we can go ahead and exclude that payment from your debt so that you can afford the new payment if there is a debt to income issue. So definitely let us know if you're going to trade one in. We'll make sure that we contact you or the dealership and let them know to make sure that's on that buyer's order. But that way we can exclude that off and know you're paying it off.
And one of the things that we also do as auto assistants, the car buying service part, we will actually communicate with, let's say you, Michelle, as a loan officer, and ask, okay, here's a bill of sale that the member is looking at. Here's the negative equity. Here's the drive out number. Here's the taxes. Here's everything. Can you please reach out to the member and discuss this information with them? That's all done before they even go and see the vehicle in person. So if you can eliminate that rather than going and spending hours and hours at a dealership, falling in love with the car, and then getting a bill of sale, taking it back to the credit union, if you can eliminate a lot of that time, that's something that I really encourage to do.
And the next question here says, if I have a pre-approval amount that I've already been pre-approved for, and I need to ask for a little bit more, can I do that? And how does that process work?
Absolutely. So you can definitely give your loan officer a call. You can email us and just say, hey, I thought I was only going to need 40, but the vehicle I'm looking at is going to be 45. Sometimes I can even give you an answer immediately. It just depends. But we would be able to up that amount and make sure we can get you approved for the higher amount. So just because you put that pre-approval in for that specific amount, don't feel like that's all you can get. That's just the amount you requested to get approved for. We can always send it back to the underwriters for a higher amount.
Okay, thank you. So when should I start the pre-approval process? Because I think we kind of glazed over that, but when should I start that?
Yeah, my recommendation is as soon as you're ready to look for a vehicle. As soon as you know, hey, I'm ready, I want one, I'm going to start looking, go ahead and put that pre-approval in. It gives you 60 days to still be able to find and look around, but that way you're prepared. I definitely recommend you to do it immediately as soon as you know you're ready.
But if you're thinking about, I'm going to buy a car next summer, don't put an application in right now.
Yeah.
Wait until you're ready and it's closer to the time, is what the recommendation would be.
All right. And does GUCU require me to have full coverage on a loan?
We do, yes.
Righty. So earlier you were talking about security, so if you're selling a place with cameras and everything and never go alone, what about when you're buying a car? And not necessarily for like the security reasons, but should you go alone when you're purchasing a vehicle?
I recommend not going alone. I recommend taking someone with you because four sets or two sets of eyes are better than one set of eye. Let's just say, for instance, you're driving a vehicle, you're on a test drive, you love the car, and you're emotionally like high right now because you're thinking about, okay, I'm driving this car. I can see myself at church in this car. I can see myself pulling up at the game in this car. I can see all my friends looking at the car and like saying, oh, nice car. But then all of a sudden, if I have a friend or someone with me, let's say they're in the back seat, they may be hearing a little noise that's coming from the tire in the back that you're not paying attention to because you're so excited about the new car. That's one reason why I encourage you to have another set of eyes with you. And then also when you go to a dealership, again, this is not all dealerships. I don't want to paint dealerships as the big bad monster or anything like that. There are some great dealerships. As a matter of fact, we partner with a lot of great dealerships. But there are some dealerships that need some help. And sometimes some people at the dealerships will get you cornered in a corner, and you feel pressured that you have to make a decision today. You don't have to make a decision at all. You don't have to make a decision just because somebody else is telling you to make a decision. I encourage you to go with your peace. If you have a peace about a decision on a car, then go for it. But I believe that having someone else with you will help you to look at those blind spots that you may not be paying attention to because of the excitement. And that's one of the things that again, by partnering with the credit union on your financing, rather than having everything done at the dealership, the credit union, by them taking a look at the loan, they may notice, oh my gosh, this is so overpriced. This is XYZ or whatever the case may be. That's that additional set of eyes that someone is looking at your whole transaction for you, rather than just signing on the bottom line at the dealership and letting them do everything all at once. So I encourage to have someone with you, but then also, like we spoke before about the financing, let the credit union take an extra set of, let them look at it and just make sure that you're headed down the right direction.
Thank you so much. And Gloria says, thank you for your service. We've appreciated GCU for 30 years. So thank you.
Yeah,
Gloria.
thank you.
It's awesome. Final question, or not final question, but one question I wanted to make sure that we get covered here, because it's probably the most commonly asked question that you get, Taiwan. How do I make sure I'm not overpaying for a vehicle? I don't have a clue, but how do I know?
It all goes back to that NADA. I would take down, I think the website is NADA.com. And even with the name change, it'll still redirect you. Or you can Google NADA. I encourage you to use that as your best friend and check the value of the vehicle. Another thing, this is so important. Know the features of the vehicle as well, because you can go to a dealership and they can tell you the value of the vehicle, or they'll tell you that, oh, I'll pull the value for you. But they may check and add items that's on the value sheet It may say that, hey, it has a sunroof, it has running boards, it may have a rear entertainment center and so forth, of boxes that you can check. The salesperson may check all those, but it may not have all those features on it, and that will give you an inaccurate value on the vehicle. So that's why I encourage you to check it yourself, or have someone like our team at Auto Assistance, or have someone at the credit union to check that value for you. That's how you can know that you're not overpaying for the vehicle. And also another question that came in was how to negotiate a better price. One thing I would say, there's not a whole lot of negotiation that's going on these days. So I like to look at it as, how do I limit the pain? How do I limit the damage in this current environment right now? And that is when you're getting a bill of sale, like for example, I received a bill of sale the other day from a dealership. It had so much extra things on the car, not including the dock fee, just extra things such as ceramic wrap, paint protection, and some other nonsense. It was about $4,000. Those are the areas that you need to watch out for. You can negotiate until you're blue in the face and find the car, and you negotiate, you get a great deal on the vehicle. But then once you go into the finance office and they start selling you all extra things, all of that negotiation that you put in at the beginning, it just goes out the door, because it's like a balloon, that's blown up. You squeeze one in, it goes to the other side. You squeeze one in, it goes to the other side. So I just encourage you to look at the total transaction, the selling price, check it against the NADA, and then look at that total transaction price just to make sure that you're not overpaying. You're not paying for a lot of extra nonsense, for lack of better terms.
Thank you so much. So with just a couple minutes here left, I want to thank everybody for giving us your time today. And it's very heartwarming to see how long we've had some of these members of going through and reading the chat, and generationally too, with the whole family. So that's awesome. Glad that y'all were able to make it. Certainly loved having y'all. And I'm going to turn this back over to our experts here one last time so they can reintroduce themselves and let you know where to get a hold of them. Okay.
Again, my name is Michelle Osborne. I am a consumer lending consultant here at Georgia United. Definitely, if you want to reach out to Georgia United with any questions about a loan, or even going ahead and getting a pre-approval, we have several different ways you can do that, but you can definitely reach our department at consumerlending@gucu.org. That will email automatically our entire team so that we can get back to them. And then, of course, our website, you can go to our website, gucu.org. You can apply there. You have our phone number there that you can call in if you just want to talk to the consumer lending team. That is an option to choose. So either of those are fine. If you just have questions or you want to apply, definitely reach out to us. Be more than happy to help you.
I would encourage you to go to our website. It's cuautosearch.com. Excuse me, cuautosearch.com. And on the website, you can search through thousands of vehicles. And the great thing about it is you could actually submit, like, say, for instance, if you're looking at a Toyota Camry that's listed on there, you can put your name and information on that particular vehicle. It says check availability or request more information within our credit union auto mall. Once you send that request over to us, it comes directly to me and my team, rather than being blasted out to dealerships and you getting bombarded with calls from different dealerships. We will contact you back on that specific vehicle and help walk you through the whole process, check to make sure that the car is still there, look at the bill of sale. We can actually, one of the great things that we do is we have the vehicles delivered directly to the credit union branch or to your home, so you don't even have to step foot in the dealership if you choose not to. I would encourage you to reach out to us. Again, that's at cuautosearch.com. My name is Taiwan Thomas, and it was such a pleasure to be here with you, Michelle, and the whole team with Georgia United. I just think that you guys are doing great, and it's just great to partner with you on this event today.
Absolutely. We have wonderful members, and we just want to continue to see that grow. So
Absolutely.
Coletta there. It says, I've used Taiwan services several times and he is awesome. So thank you everybody once again for having us, or for attending anyways. And thank you to our experts for their wealth of knowledge there. So hope everyone has a great day.